did it. 50 movies in 50 weeks, the Sci-Fi Invasion Season 2, we did it. I'm Joey Hollywood, and I'm very excited that we were able to pull this thing off. This year got really crazy at one point. I'm so happy that I recorded all of these in advance, because if I did them week to week, it wouldn't have happened. I've had I don't want to say the worst year, but the craziest year in quite a while. I'm not going to get into everything, but I am going to talk about some of it because it actually is relevant to the show. November was, I think, the worst month of them all, and that, I think, is probably something I should talk about, maybe right off the bat, because as a lot of you that have been watching for the past 2 years know, that I had a little co-host named Little Quentin. Now, Little Quentin was not intended to be a co-host, but he just kind of turned out that way. Actually, I think Quentin is in every single episode of this show up till this point, because he was always on my lap. Now, you guys saw him a lot when he was trying to invade the screen. He was very cute, but unfortunately he passed away in November. The same week, my tooth cracked open and a lot of bad news happened. It was probably just the worst week ever. He was only 8 years old. To put this in perspective, most of the cats I've ever had lived to be around 17. So it was very sudden, and when we took him to the vet to figure out what was wrong with him, they told us the most the worst way possible to tell someone something like this. But he said basically that the cat died a week ago. He just let us know that day. He's what they call a kidney cat, so they just suffer from kidney failure or liver failure just spontaneously. And the only way you can really stop it is if you're constantly taking him to the vet. And we would take him to the vet every year or every 2 years, something like that. And we'd get him tested, and he was always fine. But yeah, he just out of the blue, he's gone, and it's really sad. But I didn't want to post about it on YouTube until after 50 Movies in 50 Weeks was done, because I filmed all of that in advance, and I didn't know where he popped up. And if he was going to pop up again, I didn't want you guys to feel sad, oh, you're looking at a ghost of Little Quentin. I wanted you guys to just enjoy his little cameos, and then I thought now would be the appropriate time to let you know that he has passed on. He is survived by his daughter, Rue, who is very disabled. You will not see her as much in this show because she doesn't like to be held. She's the complete opposite of Little Quentin. But you may see her from time to time in the future. And that's probably the bigger news of this video, is that Quentin has passed on. I know you guys loved him. I loved him too. On the bright side, we finished this. I found this year's movie selection, I think I found it a little bit more fun than last year's. However, the Hercules stuff this year really sucked. Anytime a Hercules movie came on, it was like my eyes glossed over. I couldn't tell you what happened in any of them. I think we had a pretty decent selection of movies this year, and I pre-recorded a wrap-up, like a review of all the movies on here. I went back and I was like, all right, what do I remember? How well did this stick in my brain? I did this a couple months back when they were a little bit more fresh, because I guarantee you, if I did this wrap-up now, I wouldn't remember much, if at all. So I'm going to play that for you right now, so you enjoy. Alright, first up we have the incredible Petrified World, and this was, I recall, a decent start to this. I remember it had David Carradine. It was a little adventure flick underwater. I remember that they don't go underwater in a submarine. They go underwater in a bell, whatever that means. Queen of the Amazons. The only thing I truly remember about this is that there was a lot of stock footage. I can't remember anything about the plot, though. Moon of the Wolf is a movie I'm pretty familiar with. I've watched it many times, and I have some special stuff in the pipeline for this particular movie. It's a fun movie. It's a great little TV movie mystery, and I liked it. She Gods of Shark Reef was, I don't remember if I liked it, to be honest. I remember it being very of its time. I remember it reminded me a lot of the horrors of Spider Island, but instead of like spiders, there was just an island of women that don't like men. The Amazing Transparent Man. I remember this one was fun. I also remember it was on Mystery Science Theater. The Atomic Brain. I remember this one ended with the main villain turning into a cat, but I don't remember much in between. Oh, here's the Horrors of Spider Island. This one's a lot of fun. I liked this one. I particularly like the Mystery Science Theater episode. The Wasp Woman is one of my favorite movies. I have it there on Blu-ray in the thumbnail there. I would have rather have watched it on Blu-ray, but this was for this particular set, and it's always a joy to watch this movie. Voyage to the Prehistoric Planet. This was a movie I saw a long time ago on the original Sci-Fi Invasion box set I had when I was a kid, and I have it there in the thumbnail. I like this movie a lot. Voyage to the Planet of Prehistoric Women, which was on the other Sci-Fi Invasion box set I had when I was a kid, right there in the thumbnail. This is the same movie, but with a horrible subplot added to it. Do not watch this version. Watch the previous one. King of Kong Island, a movie that does not have Kong or an island. Bride of the Gorilla. This movie has Raymond Burr in it, and it's okay. And here we have our first Gamera movie of the set, delivering on the box's cover art. I don't remember much about this one in particular. All the Showa Gamera movies kind of blend together for me. Oh, this one is the first Gamera movie. I like this one a lot. I hope to never watch Santa Claus Conquers the Martians ever again. Teenagers from Space was a lot of fun. I'm really glad I saw it. I've never seen it up to this point, I don't think, and I had a blast with it. Crash of the Moons, which in the review, I kept on calling it Clash of the Moons. I think I got confused with Clash of the Titans. I really don't know. But it's a Rocky Jones movie, and I love Rocky Jones movies. Menace from Outer Space, another Rocky Jones flick. And I recall liking this one, but I can't remember any specifics about it. Oh, and here we come to the Peplums, the Sword and Sandal Hercules movies. I don't remember any of these movies. I can tell you what happens in them because the same thing happens in every Hercules movie. Hercules is just roaming around being aloof, and then he's relegated to some sort of quest, and then he has to flex his muscles for like 10 minutes straight, and then Atlantis falls in the ocean. That's every Hercules movie. You're welcome. The Lost Jungle. This was an old serial that was later turned into a movie, and I really enjoyed this one. Lost Women. If I recall correctly, this is not the original title, or at least not the title it has on the box. I think it's called Misa or Mursa of Lost Women. I can't remember. But this one I remember liking. It had a very sarcastic narrator. And the only negative I can say about it was there was not as many giant spiders as I would have hoped. Assignment Outer Space, I recall being fun. I've seen it before, and I'm actually struggling to remember what happens in it. Laser Mission is a classic for these box sets. It's on everything. Brandon Lee, and it's a weird duck because it feels like it should be a parody, but it also feels like it doesn't know it's a parody. Killers from Space with the Buzz Lightyear aliens. This movie's a lot of fun. Phantom from Space. This one is about an invisible killer. I recall enjoying this one. White Pongo. I don't remember anything about this movie. Snow Creature. I remember this being kind of like King Kong, but in the Arctic. More Hercules movies. Well, these aren't really Hercules movies. These are the sons of Hercules. The first one I actually found myself kind of liking, but I can't remember why. And I remember the second one I absolutely hated. First Spaceship to Venus. Oh, I'm not sure I remember what happens in this one. I think this is the one where... Oh, I don't think I remember what happens in this one. Zontar. I remember really liking this one. This one reminded me of... Annihilation Earth or Operation Annihilation or something like it's an old Star Trek episode. It reminded me a lot of that. The Astral Factor. I saw this one in theaters many years ago with commentary by the Cinematic Titanic crew. This one's a lot of fun. Galaxy Invader. I do like this movie, but if I recall correctly, I was not in the mood to watch it the night I did the review for this. I'm not really sure though. It's been a while. Battle of Worlds. This movie, I remember this movie dragging quite a bit. Unknown World. This is a movie where they drill to the center of the earth and it's hollow. It's a little bit of it's kind of like The Core mixed with Jules Verne's Journey to the Center of the Earth. Blood Tide. This is a movie I think I might like on Blu-ray, but I did not like it on this set. The Brain Machine I think is the worst movie on this set. The Wild Women of Wango. Not a fan of this one. Prehistoric Women, also not a fan of this movie. They Came from Beyond Space, which I recall in the video I actually say they come from beyond space. Shows how good I can read. I remember that this one was an Invasion of the Body Snatchers, Puppet Masters type movie based on a book called The Gods Hate Kansas. And I still have not read the book, but I kind of want to check it out still. Warning from Space. This is where this set completely failed me. The DVD started skipping and I had to finish watching on YouTube. I've liked this movie in the past, but I recall this particular viewing, I wasn't a fan of it. The Phantom Planet. This was a highlight of the set. This was on par with something like This Island Earth or the 1950s version of War of the Worlds. I really enjoyed this one. Planet Outlaws with Buck Rogers. I like Buck Rogers. It was really interesting because this was also another serial that was highly condensed down. I can't remember what this one. This one's called Colossus and the Amazon Women. This is another peplum, but it's a comedy. And that novelty wore off pretty quickly from what I remember. It was not... I was not a big fan of this one, but it did keep me engaged more than the Hercules movies. Ega. This movie was not as bad as its reputation suggests. Cosmos, War of the Planets. This was like the worst elements of Star Trek combined. And I like Star Trek, but if you took all the stuff I don't like about it and made a movie, this would be it. And of course we end with a Gamera flick, Destroy All Planets. And this one's still fresh in my mind, so I can differentiate it from the other Gamera movies. Gamera fights a squid and a bumblebee spaceship, and it's a lot of fun. There's also like a 30-minute flashback scene. And we're back to the present. I filmed that a couple months back. So I have some pretty exciting news for you guys. A lot of you have been asking me to do a third season of this. Well, a lot. Probably like 3 or 4 of you. But because things went so wrong in the later half of the year, I was unable to film a lot of the stuff I needed to film for my big return that I've been talking about forever. And I decided, you know what? We'll do another third season. We'll do another season of 50 movies in 50 weeks, but we're dropping the whole sci-fi element. And I'm doing that for a couple reasons. Yes, there are more sci-fi box sets like this. However, those sci-fi box sets contain episodes of TV shows or repeats of things we've already seen in here. And that doesn't feel challenging at all. I don't think you guys would enjoy that. I think you'd be like, oh yeah, I remember when you reviewed this last year. So I'm switching it up, switching genres, and we're doing horror classics. I used to have this box set many, many years ago, and I had to rebuy it because it's been lost. I don't know where it is now. I'm pretty sure it's gone forever. But to my disappointment, they gave me... I actually specifically ordered the one that came in a box like this because I wanted the little manual. But they gave me this one instead, the cardboard one. And I'm not sure about you guys, but I hate these cardboard boxes. I've had it for like maybe a week, and it's already ripping and falling apart. So I might have to reorder this, which is unfortunate, but these things are like $5. Next year, instead of doing the sci-fi invasion, we're doing the horror invasion. 50 movies in 50 weeks, and I will talk about that a little bit more next week. But in the meantime, I thought it would be fun to go through your comments again. Last year, I think I went through all of your comments, and it was like probably like a 10-minute section of that video. I'm going to just go through it really fast, read a couple comments that stand out. I really appreciate your guys' comments. It's one of the highlights of actually doing this, considering I don't make the higher quality content I used to make. Without further ado, I will cut to that. Alright, I just wanted to quickly go through some of your comments over the past year. And let's start off with probably the guy who comments the most. He says that Moon of the Wolf would probably
fare better as a novella. And you know what? I frankly agree. I like this one, She Gods. The word is goddess. What moron named this thing? That's a good one. This gentleman here has a very similar opinion about The Wasp Woman that I do. I love The Wasp Woman. It's one of my favorite movies. This guy here mentions Josh Way. Josh Way is a pretty cool dude. He used to riff movies. I think now he mostly does like live drawings, which is pretty neat. This guy here is requesting that I review Evil Dead and Drag Me to Hell, and at some point I do plan on doing a more in-depth video on those things. I would love to do a Gamera retrospective. I love Gamera. Gamera is really neat. He's also full of turtle meat. Yeah, apparently I got the name of the alien wrong in this. I said it was Thor. Oh, sorry, I said Troy, not Thor. Good catch there. I'm not sure if this guy's joking, but he says that he watches Voyage to the Prehistoric Planet at least twice a month. I mean, if that's true, good for you. But I'm not sure if I could do that. I like this movie a lot, though, but I don't know if I could do twice a month. This guy's poking fun at my dislike of Hercules movies. Yeah, sometimes I get some comments like this where I got the dates wrong on the movies. I know that's mostly my fault because I'm the one entering in this information, but I'm going off the pamphlets that come with the DVDs. And a lot of that information is wrong. Like, even the summaries of the movies are not for the right movies. It's very, very poor quality control. And here we are coming to the end, almost done. Thank you guys so much for watching all this time. I really appreciate it.
Well, that was fun, and I was also going to include a montage of Little Quentin's cameos in this video, but I think if I were to do that, this video would be ungodly long. And I kind of want to keep this one shorter than last year's. I don't even know if I have succeeded in that goal, but I really want to truncate this wrap up a little bit better than I did last year. This coming Monday, I'm going to have kind of like a 12-minute video of Little Quentin's cameos for the past 2 years. And I think that would be a lot better. He was such a big part of this show that I think that he deserves his own little memorandum video that's just for this particular series. He's in a lot of my videos, but just for this particular series, because I always got a lot of nice comments every time he showed up. With that said, I will see you this Monday for Quentin's memorandum, and then the next Friday when I introduce the horror invasion. So that's it for now. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it, and see you then.